Good morning, my dear students, and today I will be teaching you the first chapter of history, that is the Regional Kingdom 1. Why Regional Kingdom 1? Because this chapter is divided into two parts, that is Regional Kingdom 1 and the Regional Kingdom 2. Okay, so open page number 10. See, we all know that history is divided into three parts: ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history, and the modern Indian history. In this chapter in Regional Kingdom 1, we will be talking about the early medieval period. Clear? Okay. In this chapter, we will be talking about different regional kingdoms that pop up during the early medieval period. Okay. Now starting from North India, and yes, we will be covering three regions in this: the North India, the Deccan, and the South India. Okay, see, in the North India, the word Rajput comes from a Sanskrit word Rajputra, which means the son of the king. Now, see, there were a lot of claimings and lot of discussion between the historians that the Rajputs were the descendants, or they came from the sacrificial fire, or they were descendants of the Central Asian tribes, etc., etc. However, the Rajputs claim that they were Suryavanshi, that is belonging to the sun family, or Chandravanshi, that is belonging to the moon family. Now we will be talking about certain Rajput rulers and their kingdom. First, it is Tomars of Delhi. The Tomar rulers founded the city of Dehlika in the 8th century, that is the city of Delhi. Clear? Underline this. Chauhans of Rajasthan. In this, the most powerful ruler was Prithviraj Chauhan, and he defeated Muhammad Ghori in 1191. Coming to Solankis of Gujarat. In this, the most powerful ruler was Siddharaj. Then coming to Parmaras, see, you all have heard about the Neelkanteshwar temple in Udaipur. It was built by the Parmaras of Malwa. Now, Garhwals of Kannauj. The Garhwals ruled the region around Kannauj. Now, underline this: Garhwal King Jayachandra was defeated by Muhammad Ghori in 1194. And then there was the Chandelas of Bundelkhand, and the land area in which they ruled was between Yamuna river and the Narmada river. Now, coming to Ghaznavids. See, in this chapter there is more of name the following, there is more of true and false, and there is more one word answers questions. Why? Because see, in this you will be asked who was the most powerful ruler of Solankis. It was Siddharaj. Most powerful ruler of Chauhans. It was Prithviraj. Clear? So keep on underlining whatever I am saying. See, Mahmud of Ghazni. Mahmud was the ruler of Ghazni. Now it is in present day Afghanistan, and most important part that he wanted was that he should have a powerful kingdom in the region, and also powerful army. Why powerful army? To protect the kingdom. Yes. In a span of 26 years, Mahmud invaded India 17 times. Underline this. Keep on underlining. His early raids were against the Hindu Shahi rulers of Punjab. He defeated Jaipal, Anandpal, and got a large tribute from them. He raided Mathura and Kannauj in 1018 and Somnath in 1026. The Somnath temple in Gujarat was stripped of all its wealth. Mahmud carried away all the booty to Ghazni, where he built a beautiful mosque, library, and a museum. Underline this: library and a museum. Mahmud died in 1030. Now coming to Ghurids. See, Mahmud of Ghazni had defeated the ruler of Ghor and had made him the vassal. After Mahmud's death, however, the Ghaznavids become weak. Taking advantage, Muizuddin Muhammad made Ghor independent once again. Now you can see, whenever there was a ruler who was getting weak, some other used to invade his territory. Clear? Okay. He also annexed all Ghaznavid territories. Muizuddin Muhammad, and is popularly known in history as Muhammad Ghori. Please children, it is a very, very important chapter, and also it is only and only based on facts. You cannot, or we cannot change the history. We have to learn these facts. Clear? Now coming to Muhammad Ghori. Come to the second paragraph. It is more important. In 1175, Muhammad Ghori attacked and conquered Multan. In 1178, he received a temporary setback as he was defeated by the ruler of Gujarat. Now see, Muhammad Ghori, he attacked and conquered Multan, and then later he was also defeated by another ruler. Okay. Now you can see everybody was sitting just to extend their empire and territories, and also to kill or invade their opposite rulers. So in 1190, he conquered Punjab. The Rajput ruler of neighbouring kingdom of Delhi, Ajmer, Prithviraj Chauhan, prepared to face him. Now coming to battles of terrain. See, battles of terrain are very important. Kindly put a hashtag over here as important. See, 1191, the armies of Muhammad Ghori and Prithviraj Chauhan clashed at terrain. See, the armies of Prithviraj Chauhan and Muhammad Ghori. See, Prithviraj Chauhan was the most important ruler of Chauhans of Rajasthan, right? Okay, now he and Muhammad Ghori, their armies clashed at Tarin, about 80 miles from Delhi. It is a place which is 80 miles away from Delhi. Okay, now first battle of Tarin, Prithvi however made no attempt to chase the Ghurids out of Punjab. The two armies met once again in 1192. They first met in 1191 and now secondly they are going to meet in 1192. This time Muhammad's army was better prepared. Prithviraj appealed to the neighbouring kings for help. Some Rajput rulers came to this help. The most powerful Rajput ruler was Raja Jayachandra of Kannauj, who helped Prithviraj Chauhan in the second battle of Tarin. Clear? Okay. Now come to the next para. Muhammad Ghori did not stop at this. In 1194, he defeated Raja Jayachandra in the battle of Chandavar. Underline this, battle of Chandavar is very important. It came in the last year's paper. Okay. Okay, now coming to struggle for Kannauj. Kannauj was the most important city in North India. Its location was such that whoever held Kannauj could control the resources of the entire Ganga valley. Okay, now whoever was getting this place in Kannauj can control a lot of resources, especially of the Ganga valley. Since the 8th century passed, Gurjara, Pratihars and Rajputs were engaged in a tripartite struggle to control Kannauj. Now Kannauj was such a place that there were already other rulers who were fighting for Kannauj. The Palas. The Palas ruled the region covered by the present-day state of Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal. Okay, now you have to tell me its capital. Capital of West Bengal and Bihar you have to tell me. Okay. Gopala was the first ruler. He and his son Dharampal expanded and strengthened the kingdom. Underline these three lines. Gopal was the first ruler. Now there was a great prosperity during the reign of Pal kings. They were followers of Buddhism, built stupas and gave money to monasteries. Coming to Gurjara Pratihar. Gurjara Pratihar ruled over parts of Rajasthan and Gujarat. The most powerful ruler was Bhoj. Underline this. He conquered Kannauj and made it his capital. He was succeeded by his son Mahendrapal. See, in this chapter, what is most important is that they were regional kingdom. They were small kingdom. They came for some time and then they went away. And there was some other ruler who came in their place. Okay. So it is the part 1 of the video. I am completing it over here, and tomorrow, maybe in the next class, I will be talking about the Deccan and the South India. Clear? Till then, please stay at home, stay safe and keep studying and keep completing your work. Thank you and bye-bye.